My name is Ronan Burtenshaw. I'm the editor of Tribune, and here's why the media needs to change. I would say with the right-wing newspapers that their ambition is clear. They want to make sure that power continues to rest where it does in British society. They want to make sure that people who have wealth keep that wealth and extend it. They want to make sure that marginalised communities, those facing oppression, continue to face oppression. They want to make sure that no one stands up and fights against the drum roll to war every few years and the foreign policy that has been pursued so disastrously. They want to make sure that the Tories stay in power with their policies that benefit the small elite at the expense of working people. And they know what their mission is. The question for those of us on the left in British media is, do we know what our mission is? And are we strong enough making our case for socialist politics and an alternative to the Tories and to right-wing politics in Britain? And Tribune is relaunching because we believe we haven't been strong enough. We believe the left media needs to grow, needs to be better, and needs to make those cases for socialist politics and a socialist society more clearly. We consider the election of Jeremy Corbyn to the leadership of the Labour Party to have been a good thing. Not just because of an individual or because we've got some kind of, we're enamored in some way with his personality. It's about his policies. That after a very long period of time when policies that talked about redistributing wealth from the very rich to the rest of society, that talked about public ownership and the public good, that talked about peace instead of war. For the first time in a very long time, those are now becoming mainstream in the discussion in British society. That's why Jeremy Corbyn's election as the leader of the Labour Party and his period as leader of the Labour Party has been so important. That's why last year's general election, which showed that those messages can win people over, was so important. And our view is absolutely clear that the existing media has not been portraying those policies fairly, accurately, and the lack of support for somebody who 40% of the voters in the general election last year supported in the media is obviously a gap, obviously bad for politics. I think a lot of people can look at kind of newspaper headlines over the last few weeks and months and turn around and think to themselves, well, are things really going so well? There will always be divisions among the left, and probably more so than among the right, because the left aims to represent a wider and more diverse section of the population. It's much more simple to pull together a unified coalition around the argument, let's keep money in the hands of people who have money, let's keep the wealthy wealthy, than it is to say, let's change the political system, let's change the economic system, and let's give power to ordinary people. And what always is to the power of the left, there's something that brings us together, is that in the end of the day, when the battle lines are drawn, it is the many against the few, it is the interest of the majority of people who would benefit from those kind of policies, particularly from redistribution and better public services, against a small minority of people who want to keep things the way they are, or in some cases, make them worse.